We're sending cameras deep into the ocean, to places where very few humans have ever been. You might think the deep sea is just dark water and strange fish, but there's so much more. Down there are things we never imagined, ancient ruins, unknown creatures, and natural forces that can freeze or kill in an instant. It's both terrifying and amazing. One minute you're looking at something beautiful, and the next, you're watching nature's version of a nightmare unfold. Trust me, what's waiting down there will shock you. Take for example what's known as the frozen finger of death. It sounds fake, right? But it's completely real. Scientists call it a brinicle. When sea ice forms, it releases extremely salty and super cold water. This water is heavier than the ocean water around it, so it sinks. As it drops, it freezes everything in its path, creating a long, icy tube that reaches all the way down to the ocean floor. This deadly ice formation was first noticed in the 1960s but wasn't actually filmed until 2011, near Antarctica. Divers had to go under the ice, bring big, heavy cameras, and capture it all. What they filmed was haunting. Sea stars and sea urchins getting frozen solid the moment the brinicle touched them. It looked like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it was 100% natural. Scientists later built computer models in 2023 to study how brinicles grow. Though rare, they're delicate but deadly. Proof that the ocean holds some truly mysterious powers. But that's not the only thing that'll make your skin crawl. In March 2025, scientists aboard a research ship called Falco 2 made a jaw-dropping discovery. They sent a robotic submarine named Sebastian about 2,000 feet deep, and suddenly, it captured video of a squid drifting in the water. But not just any squid, this was a juvenile colossal squid. Before this moment, we had only seen these creatures when they washed up on shore or were found inside whale stomachs. No one had ever seen one alive in the wild. Marine scientists on board were speechless. One of them even started hyperventilating when she noticed the squid's creepy hooks and giant eyes. Eyes so big, they're almost the size of dinner plates. These massive eyes help the squid see in pitch-black waters. Finally, we had proof that these legendary creatures truly roam the deep ocean. The deep sea doesn't just hide monsters, it hides mysteries too. In 2020, researchers deep off the coast of Western Australia spotted what they first thought was a massive Portuguese man-of-war. But it wasn't. This was a different kind of creature, a siphonophore from the genus Apolemia. Unlike the surface-floating man-of-war, which uses a gas-filled bladder to float and trails long, venomous tentacles, this deep-sea cousin lives thousands of feet below and floats in a beautiful spiral. It looks like a jellyfish but is actually a colony of many small, specialized parts working together. When people saw the images online, confusion spread fast. Many thought it was a giant version of the dangerous man-of-war, but scientists cleared things up. This creature, while related, was something completely different and just as fascinating. And while we're on the topic of underwater wonders, imagine stumbling upon what looks like a sunken city. That's exactly what happened in 1986 near Japan's Yonaguni Island. A diver named Kihochiro Eritake found a massive stepped rock formation underwater. It looked like a giant pyramid, 165 feet long, 80 feet wide, and about the same height as a 7-story building. Some experts, like geologist Masaaki Kimura, believed it was over 10,000 years old, possibly made by an ancient civilization when sea levels were much lower. Others, like American scientist Robert Schoch, argued it was a natural formation created by earthquakes and erosion. With its sharp edges and perfect steps, it's hard not to think it was man-made. The debate continues even today. Was it part of a lost civilization? Or just nature's strange handiwork? Speaking of strange, one of the oddest animals ever filmed in the deep ocean is known as the headless chicken monster. Yes, that's its real nickname. Officially called Enypnias xeximia, this bizarre sea cucumber has been known since the 1880s, but we had never really seen it alive in its natural environment until 2017. A deep-sea camera captured it in the Gulf of Mexico, and another one was filmed near Antarctica in 2018. It floats above the sea floor using little fin-like flaps, gently drifting like a ghost. Its body is pink and see-through, glowing slightly when disturbed. And yes, it really does look like a plucked chicken swimming through space. Some call it the Spanish dancer, because of the way it sways. This weird creature lives all around the world at incredible depths, from 1,600 feet to nearly 20,000 feet below the surface. And then there are fish so invisible, they look like ghosts. Leptocephali are the transparent babies of eels. Back in 1904, one was caught near the Faroe Islands, and people didn't know what to make of it. Some thought it was a new kind of animal, or even that it grew from rocks. But eventually, French scientists proved it was actually a larval eel. These creatures live in the open ocean, drifting along currents and migrating up and down throughout the day. In 2020, NOAA found some even deeper, over 5,000 feet down. Though they may look like myths, they're very real and beautifully adapted to the deep sea's twilight zone. Now, let's talk about one of the most famous ocean mysteries ever, the bloop. In 1997, underwater microphones in the South Pacific recorded a strange, incredibly loud sound. It was so powerful that it was picked up over 3,000 miles apart. Scientists nicknamed it the bloop. People were fascinated. Was it a new giant sea creature? A hidden submarine? Some even joked it was the sound of Cthulhu, the fictional monster. For years, no one had an answer. But in 2012, NOAA scientists finally figured it out. The bloop was the sound of a massive iceberg cracking and breaking apart near Antarctica. It wasn't a sea monster, but it was still impressive. It showed how powerful nature can be, and how easily our imaginations run wild in the face of the unknown. Finally, let's not forget that the ocean holds more than just creatures. It holds history. In the Pacific Ocean, there's a place called Chuck Lagoon, once a major base for the Japanese Navy during World War II. In 1944, during a surprise U.S. attack called Operation Hailstone, more than 40 ships and 250 aircraft were destroyed there. In 1969, legendary ocean explorer Jacques Cousteau visited the site and filmed what he called an underwater graveyard. The sunken ships are now perfectly preserved under calm waters, serving as eerie time capsules of a violent past. Over the years, divers have explored these wrecks, finding everything from warships to cargo vessels, now home to coral and sea life. In 2018, a group even found 3 long-lost American planes, giving closure to families who had waited decades. Some people say the lagoon is haunted or cursed. But for scientists and historians, it's a powerful reminder of what lies forgotten beneath the waves. And the ocean still hides even older secrets, entire cities lost underwater, waiting to be discovered. In the year 2000, a French underwater archaeologist named Frank Gaudiot made an incredible discovery. He found the lost ancient Egyptian port city called Thonis Heracleion, which many had believed was only a myth. Using advanced equipment like sonar and magnetometers off the coast of Abu Qir Bay in Egypt, his team uncovered secrets that had been hidden under the Mediterranean Sea for thousands of years. This city, along with another sunken city, had treasures that were long thought to exist only in legends. Gaudiot's team found giant statues, sunken ships, and large temple ruins resting beneath layers of silt on the seabed. Thonis Heracleion is believed to have sunk around 100 BC due to a combination of an earthquake and rising sea levels. Before this discovery, the city was known only through old writings and ancient texts, which is why people started calling it Egypt's Atlantis. During their explorations, the team recovered about 70 ships, several 5-meter-tall statues, coins from the time of Alexander the Great, and everyday objects from ancient times. One of the most important finds was a large granite stone, called a stele, which had hieroglyphs carved into it. These inscriptions confirmed the city's true identity. After the discovery, many myths and conspiracy theories spread online. Some people claimed curses or even alien activity caused the city to sink. But experts made it clear that natural events like earthquakes and sea level changes were the real cause. By 2021, only about 5% of the entire site had been explored, suggesting that many more secrets still lie hidden beneath the seabed. Frank Gaudiot described the moment they saw ancient hieroglyphs appear under the water as something straight out of an adventure movie like Raiders of the Lost Arkansas. Sometimes, the ocean doesn't just destroy history, it preserves it perfectly. Moving to another sea mystery, the MV Derbyshire was the biggest British merchant ship when it disappeared in 1980 during Typhoon Orchid. The crew had received 3 different weather reports from Guam, Tokyo, and Hong Kong, but each one gave a different location for the typhoon. The 91,000-ton ship vanished without sending any emergency message. For 14 years, the families of the crew demanded answers about what had happened. In 1994, maritime explorer David Mearns located the wreck nearly 14,000 feet deep off the coast of Okinawa. Over 2,500 artifacts from the ship were photographed. Investigators later discovered that the ship had suffered major structural failure. Giant waves had damaged its ventilators and flooded the cargo areas. This led to a catastrophic implosion caused by extreme pressure under the sea. Some people believed the ship had been sabotaged or had exploded, but by the year 2000, an official investigation cleared the crew of any blame. It confirmed that the ship had sunk due to natural forces. The tragedy of the Derbyshire led to 22 international safety improvements for bulk carrier ships. Although the sea took the Derbyshire, its loss taught lessons that have since helped save many lives. Nature also shows us creatures we never thought we would see alive, like the barrelfish. This strange fish had been known since 1939, but only through dead specimens. It had tube-shaped eyes and a clear, see-through head. Finally, in 2004, scientists from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, MBARI, filmed one alive near Monterey Bay, about 2,000 feet deep underwater. Its glowing green eyes look through its transparent dome-like head, always facing upward to spot prey. In 2008, scientists discovered that it could rotate its eyes downward, which made it a perfect hunter in the deep sea. Some people on the internet called it an alien or a monster because it looked so bizarre. Scientists were amazed because no other animal looks like it. Its strange body helped it spot faint shapes of prey while staying protected under jellyfish tentacles. It even steals food from long, stringy animals called siphonophores. Bruce Robertson from Bari said they had only seen the barrelfish 9 times in over 5,000 deep-sea dives. This showed just how rare and mysterious the fish really is. Sometimes, real life is stranger than fiction. Even stranger than the barrelfish is a squid that appears to walk. In September 2024, scientists dropped a camera nearly 11,000 feet into the Tonga Trench, one of the deepest places in the ocean. There, they filmed a big fin squid walking along the seafloor. It had a floating body and very long arms, over 13 feet, that lightly touched the ground like thin legs. Before this, big fin squid had only been seen in blurry, faraway videos. Some people claimed they grew up to 26 feet long or moved like giant sea spiders. But what scientists saw was very different. The squid moved slowly and gracefully, not fast or creepy. These squids live in the darkest and coldest parts of the ocean, sometimes even deeper than 20,000 feet. No one has ever captured a fully grown adult. Most sightings have been of young ones. This video gave scientists the best look so far at how these rare animals behave. Instead of just swimming, big fin squid sometimes gently explore the seafloor, probably looking for food. But the deep ocean doesn't just hide strange creatures, it also holds stories of ancient people. In 1984, a marine archaeologist named Ehud Galilei was scanning the seafloor off the coast of Atlit, Israel. He found something unexpected: walls, stones, and structures that didn't belong there. Carbon dating of plant remains showed the site was from between 6,900 to 6,300 BCE, from a period known as the pre-pottery Neolithic B era. Divers found a stone well, rectangle-shaped houses, fire pits, and 7 huge megaliths, large stones, each weighing around 600 kilograms. These megaliths were placed in a circle around a spring, which was likely considered sacred. The stones had cup marks carved into them. Inside the site, they also found axes, sickles, hooks, seeds of wheat and figs, and even 6,000 fish bones. This site, called Atlit Yam, helps us understand how early humans slowly changed from being hunter-gatherers to living in permanent farming communities. The most shocking part was the discovery of 90 human graves. Some of the skeletons showed signs of tuberculosis, the oldest known cases ever found, and others had ear injuries caused by cold water diving. Why did the city disappear? Scientists believe a giant tsunami, possibly triggered by a collapse of Mount Etna in Italy, sent a 40-meter-high wave crashing through the region, wiping out the settlement. Some people called it Israel's Atlantis, but Galilei said that real science and evidence told the true story. In 2011, Shell Oil was scanning the ocean floor in the Gulf of Mexico when they spotted something unusual. It was a shape about 84 feet long and 26 feet wide, sitting over 4,300 feet deep. The next year, the NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer sent down a robotic vehicle to investigate. What they found amazed the scientists. It was a very well-preserved shipwreck. They saw copper-covered wooden planks, large anchors, cannons, a ship's cooking stove, glass bottles, ceramic plates, and even muskets. Marine archaeologist Jack Irian said the stove was something rarely seen in shipwrecks in that area. Frank Cantillas from NOAA added that it was found over 200 miles from shore, making it one of the deepest wooden shipwrecks ever found in U.S. waters. In 2013, another robotic vehicle, named Hercules, mapped the area and found 3 different wrecks close together. The exact identity of the ship is still unknown, but the cargo and weapons suggest it may have been active during the War of 1812 or involved in early trade in the Gulf. The reason the ship was so well preserved is because the copper covering and thick layers of mud protected it, keeping it intact like a time capsule from the past. Then in October 2024, a team from National Geographic called Pristine Seas, led by Manu San Felix, was diving near Molo Island in the Solomon Islands. They saw something huge that looked like a sunken ship, but it wasn't a ship at all. It was a living coral. The coral, called Pavona clavis, was massive, 112 feet long, 105 feet wide, and almost 5 meters tall. Its circumference was about 600 feet. Based on how fast coral grows, scientists believe it was at least 300 years old, and possibly as much as 500 years old, meaning it could have started growing back in the 1600s. Although made of nearly 1 billion tiny individual polyps, it functioned as a single living organism. Marine biologist Enrique Sola said it was a reminder that there are still amazing things left to discover in the ocean. Manu San Felix called the experience emotional, showing deep respect for the coral that had survived so many centuries. Some people even said the coral was so big it could be seen from space. About 10 years ago, scientists observed something they had never seen before. A whale shark sinking to the bottom of the ocean, about 1,000 meters deep. The body of the huge shark attracted many scavengers. The first to arrive were eel pouts, which started burrowing into its soft cartilage. Interestingly, bone-eating worms called ostacs, which usually feed on whale bones, were missing. That's because shark cartilage doesn't have enough fat and structure to support them. Instead, a different ecosystem formed, with other deep-sea creatures feeding on the dead whale shark. Of course, wild rumors started spreading about sea monsters or unknown predators killing the shark, but scientists explained that this was simply a rare but natural event. Even a creature as large as a whale shark can become an important food source and foundation for life deep under the ocean. In 1959, in China, the government built the Xianan River Dam. As a result, an entire valley was flooded to create Qiandao Lake. One of the places that disappeared under the water was Sheching, also known as the Lion City. The Lion City, also known as Sheching, was founded in the year 621 AD during China's Tang dynasty. This ancient city was full of impressive architecture. It had 5 main gates, 265 arches, and carvings of lions, dragons, and phoenixes decorating its buildings. For over 1,000 years, the city thrived and was home to a large population. However, in 1959, the government decided to build the Xianan River Dam, which caused a large valley to be flooded. As a result, around 300,000 people were relocated, and the city sank under 85 to 131 feet of water. Over time, the city was forgotten. In 2001, divers rediscovered the underwater city, and what they found amazed everyone. The walls, carvings, and even wooden beams were still in excellent condition. Because the water was clean, there was no sunlight, and there were no strong currents. The city was naturally preserved like a sealed vault. Some people called it China's Atlantis, thinking it was a legend. But it was never a myth. The flooding of the city had been planned and recorded in history. Nature played a surprising role by keeping the city so well preserved for decades. In another case, a tragic event made headlines when a 17-year-old boy died after being stung by a box jellyfish near Bamaga on Cape York in Australia. This led to concerns about how to prevent more such accidents. People used to believe that box jellyfish only lived in warm, shallow waters close to the shore. However, in 2015, researchers from Australia's Kimberley Marine Research Program discovered something that changed this belief. They used underwater video cameras and equipment to explore deeper waters near the northwest coast of Australia. What they found was unexpected. They recorded 64 box jellyfish, specifically the Chironex species, living between 39 and 56 meters deep. This was far deeper than scientists had previously thought they could survive. In just one 1,500-meter tow, the researchers spotted dozens of these jellyfish swimming close to the seafloor. It seemed they were not just drifting near the surface anymore, but were actively hunting fish and crustaceans in the deeper water. The box jellyfish is considered the most venomous animal in the world, making this discovery even more concerning. Rumors quickly spread online, with people claiming jellyfish were secretly hiding in dangerous places. But scientists explained that this was simply a new behavior they hadn't seen before, not a new threat. Still, this discovery showed that box jellyfish had a wider range than once believed, and that made encounters with them less predictable. In November 2014, researchers from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute sent a remotely operated vehicle, ROV, into the deep waters of the Monterey Canyon. At about 600 meters deep, they spotted something strange and terrifying, a black sea devil anglerfish. It looked like a creature from a horror movie, with wide jaws, almost see-through skin, and a glowing lure hanging over its head to attract prey. The footage of this rare fish went viral. But that wasn't the first time such a discovery had been made. Back in 2004, the same institute filmed a different type of anglerfish, known as Chonocops coloratus, at a depth of 2,600 meters. What shocked the scientists was that this fish didn't swim like others. It walked across the seafloor using fins that acted like legs. People called it an alien fish or monster of the deep, but researchers like Bruce Robertson and Lonnie Lunston explained that these creatures were perfectly adapted to survive in total darkness. Robertson admitted the video was creepy, but scientifically fascinating. Lunston also pointed out that the fish changed color as it grew, with young ones appearing blue and adults turning red. These discoveries gave scientists a clearer look at how deep-sea creatures live, thanks to ROVs that allowed them to study animals in their natural habitat instead of relying on old museum specimens. In December 2000, scientists aboard the research vessel Atlantis discovered something that could change our understanding of life itself. While exploring the mid-Atlantic ridge, they came across a group of tall white towers rising from the ocean floor. This area became known as the Lost City Hydrothermal Field. The chimneys, made from carbonate minerals, were up to 60 meters tall and released warm, alkaline fluids at temperatures between 40 and 90 degrees Celsius. Unlike other hydrothermal vents that rely on magma, these chimneys formed through a process called serpentinization. This happens when seawater reacts with certain types of deep-sea rocks, producing gases like hydrogen and methane. Later research confirmed that the lost city had been active for at least 120,000 years. What surprised scientists even more was the strange life living inside and around the chimneys. Tiny organisms called archaea were found living within the mineral walls, and other odd creatures like snails, bivalves, shrimp, tubeworms, and corals thrived there. Sometimes even fish and sharks passed through the area. Some early reports called the lost city an underwater Atlantis, but marine geologist Deborah Kelly explained that it was a completely natural ecosystem, not a lost civilization. More importantly, the gases coming from the rocks were the same ones believed to have helped start life on Earth. So instead of a myth, the lost city gave scientists a real place to study how life might have first formed in Earth's early oceans. These incredible discoveries, from sunken cities to deep-sea creatures and strange underwater environments, show us that much of the ocean is still unexplored. There could be lost civilizations, unknown species, and natural wonders hiding beneath the waves. One thing is certain, we've only just begun to understand the secrets of the deep sea. Tell us what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.